Welcome to the Latin Wealth Podcast, a podcast dedicated to educating the Latino community about entrepreneurship, investing, and business.
Yo, what's going on, Latin Wealth family? Welcome to another episode to the Latin Wealth Podcast. Got another special episode to Wealth Wednesday today. Super excited about the topics and also excited because we got Jeremiah back in the building. You know what I'm saying? I had to go solo last week, scored 40 points, but it's all good.
Dropping a quick 50.
Yeah, I had you step in real quick, but it's all good. It's all love. We're gonna be diving into Anuel, our Puerto Rican reggaeton artist. Our brother endorses Donald Trump. All right, so we're gonna be diving into that, what that means. Why is he endorsing Donald Trump? Also gonna be diving into Brazil as a recently banned Twitter, now known as X. We're gonna be diving into the court's decision, explain it, and really go into Elon Musk, who is the owner of Twitter. What's his thoughts are? What is he thinking? What's going on? We're going to be diving into all that in this episode. And like I said, we got Jeremiah back in the building. What's good, man? How you feeling?
Feeling good. It feels good to be back. Sorry I was missing last week, but you told me that you had it. The
Oh,
game
good.
still continues, right? The marathon still continues. So shouts out to you, bro. I was watching last week's episode and you killed it. Shouts out
I
to you.
appreciate it. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So yeah, let's dive into it on and Donald Trump. One of the reasons why we wanted to cover this, I know we've gotten in the past, like, yo, y'all Republicans, y'all this, y'all that. Look, I gotta say right now, as we always say, we're in the middle. We like to give you guys both sides, both perspectives. If you listen to 2 weeks ago, we spoke about Kamala Harris and some of the things that she's doing to some of the initiatives to pitch to Latinos for Latinos to vote for her. We spoke about the WhatsApp, how she opened up the WhatsApp channel. And fun fact, the WhatsApp channel, I looked into it today to see if there's been any updates, any information. They said, it's going to be information. It's going to be some behind the scene of what's going on. It's September 3rd. The last time they posted was August 20th. I think that's when the episode came out. So, look, we again, all jokes aside, we want to give both sides, both perspectives, talk about what the right's doing, what the left's doing, and how it pertains to the Latino community. And so, celebrity endorsement. This is something that I feel like in the recent years has just been everywhere. It's been the talk of the town. Who's this president bringing up? Who's endorsing who? Donald Trump appearance alongside Puerto Rican reggaeton artist Anuel AA forms part of a larger emerging pattern in the campaign to vote for Latinos, right? And so Anuel, he endorses Trump during his rally in Johnstown, Pennsylvania on Friday, telling Puerto Ricans to stay united and to vote for Trump. And then Trump also followed up and said, because it's not all Puerto Ricans there, he said, I don't know if these people know who the hell you are, but it's good for the Puerto Rico votes. Something that he probably definitely would say. Every Puerto Rican is going to vote for Trump now. We'll take it. That's what Trump said. Definitely sounds like something that he would say. But with all that being said, what are your thoughts about this? It's essentially marketing. That's all it is. Trump wants to use Unwell's platform. He's got an audience. I'm about 99.9% sure he paid Unwell for him to come up there, endorse him,
Yeah.
and to use his audience,
Yeah.
speak to his audience.
I mean, great marketing on the aspect, and some would say him getting shot was marketing. I didn't say that. I said some would say. I did. Hey, anyway.
Right.
Um, Let me say this. Let's address this going the backwards way. I'll state it off what you said. August 20th is the last time that Kamala
Mm,
Harris and her team has posted anything inside of the WhatsApp that's specially made for the Latino voters. We said it was a marketing ploy. We kind of thought it was that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like that's exactly what it was. It was just a checkpoint. Shame on them, right? And this is one of the biggest things I would say from, and I'm getting to Trump, and I'm going to explain why it's so
Yep.
powerful what he's doing. But shame on Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party, because for about 60 to 70 years now, the black and brown vote has always gone to Democrats. And that's because
Mm-hmm.
on a normal basis, Republicans are just more in your face. Um, Alternative lifestyles are the belief system that was usually contrary to ethnic groups. Let's say it that way. I didn't say the R
Mm-hmm.
word, ism. I just said that it's contrary to black and brown, right? So shame on the Democrats, because yet again, another instance of them taking advantage and manipulating our emotions, and utilizing those things to not come through on what they said, which feeds into me now talking about Anuel and Trump. Anuel said something very, 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 very poignant in his speech, and I think it was very truthful what he said. What he said was, for years we've heard promises, promises and promises and promises, and they don't come through. I have to agree with them. For years, Democrats have given promises and they never come through on those promises. So, in the radical aspect, now, does Trump come through on his? No, he's garbage as well. But you shift to something different, because you can't just keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, because that's insanity. And so, I think that the lack of coming through on the promises for the people and doing these things, that leads to Unwell being able to be paid and utilizing this kind of open and fresh, um, it's kind of clear board now, because the vote isn't assured to go to the left, right? I mean, I'm literally like 60 years, the vote always went black and brown, always went Democratic. It was just a thing people knew. It was what it was. It's not like that anymore. And the reason for that is the lack of coming through on promises. The WhatsApp is another example of it. And I think that Trump is now feeding on that. He learned metrics from losing in 2020. Whether he said it was legal or it wasn't illegal, his guys went back and studied what actually happened. And what they told him is you need the black and brown vote. Last time, all you did was feed to your base, and you fed that and you stoked that base and you got them, and that was great. But it wasn't enough in 2020, because Biden and them, they actively went after that base. You have to go and attack that base. We have to market. We have to make memes with you with a 50 cent song. Like, we have to do all these things to get that base. That's where you need to focus on, is that demographic of people. And so, if not anything, shouts out to Trump for at least doing his homework, because the Democrats seem like they're completely, dunce and dumb. They haven't done any studying, and that's.
100%. And to your
And I'm not a
point,
Republican, by the way. I don't endorse Trump at all. I don't like Trump at all. I would never vote for Trump. But I'm just stating, based on the two, we're giving shots from both sides. I think that's where it comes to. And yes, Anwar was paid, but I understand the sentiment of him saying, like, what have you
100%.
guys actually done for Puerto Rico? Yeah, I don't see
100%.
where you've done anything. And Puerto Rico, by the way, can't vote for the president. I'm sure
For
most
sure.
people know that. But there are more of us in the States than there is in the island. And so the ones here,
Our
right,
influence.
can't vote. Yeah.
Yeah. The one on the mainland were influenced on who to vote for. And to your point, in 2020, over 60% of Latino voters voted for Biden over Trump.
Correct.
So like you said, he took note of that. He noticed that. And, he's doing what he can to make a change. And it's interesting that they were in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a battleground state with a sizable Latino vote. They're also the home to the third largest Puerto Rican diaspora community in the country.
Makes perfect sense.
So,
Philly, Reading, Allentown,
yeah,
all of them are highly, highly large populations of Puerto Ricans. Yep.
100%.
Chicago,
And
New York, of course. Yep.
100%. And I was thinking, like, it's a little different for me. Like, do celebrity endorsements, do they matter? To me, no. But I can see how they can definitely persuade a huge group of people, whether it's Anuel's super fans. They're not going to read into any of this. They don't know who to vote for, but he's up there supporting Trump. Okay, I'll just vote for him. That's as much as research a lot of people would do.
Now, I would say that it's almost, I won't say maddening, but it's almost saddening to the fact that they don't reach out to Puerto Rican STEM-based engineers or mathematicians that have done phenomenal things inside of the states. It's almost maddening that they don't reach out to the gentleman that wrote what is it, Hamlet?
Oh,
Uh,
I know who you're talking about. Luis.
yes, yes. It's
What's
sad
his
that you
name?
wouldn't reach
Hamilton,
out.
Hamilton,
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 Hamilton.
Hamilton.
You wouldn't reach out to him and get his conversation. You're
Mm,
obviously not gonna reach out to Bad Bunny because you know where that
right,
conversation is.
right.
You clearly know where that conversation is gonna go. But just stepping outside of entertainment, and that's more of a cultural thing. And like I said, brown people, Latinos, we are very emotional, and we can sometimes be manipulated through things like this, which is people that we like or that we idolize, and having them
Right.
say things to us to push us in a certain direction versus us reading about the platforms of these people, or them reaching out to people that are influential in the educational side or the business related side of our population, right? So
But
they know how to.
why do you think that's maddening? For you, maybe it is, but for them, they need people that can influence.
Yeah,
And not
that
not that I'm saying these people are not influential. I'm not saying that by any means, but Anuel,
yeah.
he's
I mean,
influential.
he doesn't influence me for anything, but
Right,
that's
right. I know. I'm
but
take outside of it. Take
take
us
us out
outside.
of the equation, and
Right,
most people, he's going to influence them.
right,
It's a
right.
great ploy. I do agree with that, but that's the problem, and that
It
speaks
is
more to us, the culture, right?
100%.
Say that, hey, why are you listening to Anuel, who has his own issues? Love his music, whatever. Music's great, whatever, but like he's no one to listen to in the terms
Right,
of
right.
making decisions for your life. That's what I'm saying, and that's more of a cultural thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, is it beneficial to them if we aren't listening to the educated, revolutionary scientists, mathematicians? Is that more beneficial to them? Of course it is, because those people usually are free thinkers and they don't go with either side. They
Mm,
say, I don't like what either one of you are talking about because you don't actually have an active plan, in this case, for Puerto Rico. Where's your active plan for actually doing something for us? But, they would require
mm,
that. And so that's what I'm saying, bringing it back. That's Unwell controls a certain group of people. And as
right.
long as they vote, then you get your numbers.
And isn't it a shame that that's how low they think of us? That let me just
That's
bring an artist that just,
that's why it's mad.
entertain you,
That's why it's mad. That's what I'm talking about. That's why
this
it's
this
mad.
this will be good enough for y'all right
That's
here.
it. I'm only gonna bring, and it's like that's what I'm saying. It's like that for black and brown. That's what they do. It's an entertainer. When I ask Latinos, my Latino brothers and sisters, I say, give me three people, three influential Latinos that aren't in entertainment, sports, or music. And they can't
Mm,
do it. And they can't do it. They don't speak of the Honorable Judge Sotomayor, as a Supreme Court judge. You don't talk about these type of people. You go to entertainers and stuff. Now, if we go the other way, right, to Caucasians, they could give you a list, and you know those right off the top of your head. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos,
mm,
uh, Paul Allen, like Steve Jobs. You could just name multiple people in a
mm,
space that has nothing to do with any of this, right? You see the difference? You see how your brain, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. And we have those people here for us, but they're not influential to us because we want to
mm.
be entertained. And the entertainment is what's kept us in the same place, and that's neither right or left. That's just our thinking.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And look, that's one of the reasons why we created this platform, because we were tired of seeing, look, we got enough entertainers, we got enough of this, the funny stuff, but we need some substance, some information, some things that are going to change our life, make us think, make us become independent thinkers.
That's all I want. And I think and you and me are on the same note. We always talk about this, how like, neither one of us are right or left. Like, I just want you to think for yourself. And if you agree with this guy, but not this guy, that's good, right? It shouldn't be party politics. You should go on the actual platform and what that person in particular, right, is standing on for themselves.
Mm,
That's what I believe.
100%. And transitioning a little bit, a Brazilian judge believes that Twitter should be no more in Brazil.
Speaking
This
of
thing,
Elon,
he's saying this thing should be banned and we don't need it in Brazil anymore. And mind you, I don't know what the population of Brazil, but Brazil is a massive country,
it's a massive population.
massive population. So you can just see
Massive population.
how many people this affects, content creators, a bunch of people, business owners and whatnot. A Brazilian judge ordered on Friday the immediate suspension of social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, in the country after a court imposed deadline expired for the company to identify a legal representative in Brazil. Now, the judge cited repeated violation of court orders and the spread of hate speech and misinformation. The ban, which took effect on Saturday, came after a month of escalating tension between ex-owner Elon Musk and Brazilian authorities over the content moderation practices. All right. So this just happened. Pretty big news that just came out. The move is the latest chapter in ongoing feud between, again, Brazilian Supreme Court Justice Morales and Elon Musk, which also includes the freezing of the satellite internet. A little bit more information. They're really not playing around. There's fines for Brazilians who are trying to get around the Twitter blockage, to prevent the use of virtual private networks, VPNs. They have ordered to fine people up to almost $9,000 a day for you using a VPN, trying to get on Twitter, trying to get around the blockage and whatnot. So they're really not playing around. This is what's going on. Just it pretty much came out over the weekend.
I think it's a little bit. I think it's a little bit wild. You're trying to censor anyone, even if you're a moralist. You can't censor people. They're gonna find ways to get to stuff anyway. Um, Elon Musk has always said that his whole purpose behind X was to let it be uncensored.
Mm-hmm.
You choose. If you're a parent, then you need to control your kid's cell phone. Control that specific cell phone, not everyone else's. You just control it because you're a parent. So you should know
Mm-hmm.
what your children are looking at on their cell phone. But censorship is crazy. That's number one. Um, Brazil's kind of been on this path for quite a
Yep.
bit.
Yep.
If you look at it, they've been on this path of basically anti-left as much as possible. It's been going like pure right, kind of Bible Belt. You can't do anything that's out. And there's nothing wrong with having morals and things like that, but censorship is crossing the line, I think. And by the way, the population of Brazil is 218 million people. So if you America is 355 million people with all the space we have. In Brazil's, it's not a small
Mm-hmm.
country, but in that compact area, that's very densely populated.
It's actually, yeah,
218
it's all
million.
basically all by the coast because can't really live in the Amazon. So yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
And you're right. They have a history. This Brazilian judge back in the days, they shut down Meta WhatsApp, or they
Yeah.
shut down WhatsApp back in 2015, 2016. And I'm looking at that they also review refuse people's requests for data in 2022. Telegram was another app that they, were going to shut down. So they definitely had a history of this.
I feel like, honestly, this is like the history, but they've been trending toward this whole direction. And let's be honest, I live here in California. The population of Brazilians here is very large. So you have a large population of Brazilians in Florida and in California. And it seems to be getting larger and even larger. And this makes sense why, because this puts stops or bans basically on some people's business practices. And you're
Mhm.
like, well, how does that happen? Well, what if I'm using X for my marketing,
sure.
from my business. And right now, overnight, you've shut down my entire business essentially. I have to shift that to a social media platform or a platform that I don't have a following on. My
Mm-hmm.
business is destroyed. And there's to say how many people that has happened to. You're like, well, you don't use X for business. Well, that's not what you use it for. But no one
Right.
knows. You know what I mean? So I
100%.
think that it's premature. I think it's an old way of thinking. It's almost like, I won't say dictatorship, but like totalitarianism. You're trying to control
Yeah,
people's minds, and that's crazy to me, man.
that's
I don't see
crazy.
how that can be beneficial to them. It's gonna have a big. By the way, let's look down the road. Um, Elon Musk decides that he doesn't want to build any satellites. He doesn't want to source any, uh, actual raw material from Brazil. He doesn't want, like, what happens if Tesla was going to build
Mm.
plants out in the countryside of Brazil? Well, he's like, nah, you know what? Actually, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
No, no more.
And now you're
Yeah.
costing jobs, you cost the economy, and I don't see how it's super beneficial. I
Mm.
mean, but
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with this. This is, to me, it's a similar situation to the whole TikTok situation that's been
yeah,
going on. I wasn't in agreement with that either, because like we've been talking about, there's people, yes, there's a lot of people that just sit around, they consume it, that's fine. But there's a
mhm.
huge group of people that have their careers, a whole career just on that one platform. Same with Twitter.
And it's been like, the thought process is, did you even do a study to see how that would affect them, or how many people were actually utilizing it for business?
Hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna have some degenerates that just sit around and watch stuff they shouldn't watch and all kinds of, yeah, and that's out there. But the majority of people on the platform aren't doing that. That's a much smaller percentage. Most people are interacting with people, growing their network, right? Building relationships, going on Twitter Live. I mean, on X, what is it? Not X After
Spaces,
Dark. It's X
spaces,
Live or something. Huh?
spaces.
Faces.
Yeah,
So, like, come on, man. This is where, I
yeah,
don't know. I don't see where the thought process is. I don't see how it's beneficial, honestly.
yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy how they can just, and the thing about them, the biggest difference is they just shut this joint down like overnight. It's not like TikTok where we
There's ways,
still
man, to
like,
get you a proxy. There's all sorts of way around it,
yeah,
but you just shouldn't have to do that. Like, nobody should have to do that. I don't think.
mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah. I mean, look, Twitter can get crazy. I get it, but the misinformation there, my point is there has to be something deeper going on with the
Almost
Supreme
that.
Judge and Elon Musk. I was looking to see what it was, to see if anybody was talking about it. I didn't come across anything, but something deeper that going on there.
There's some
All
business
the
or there's
platforms are
business
spreading misinformation.
there's there's some type of business or deals that didn't happen. There's something that was promised to Brazil, at a certain level, or something that Elon maybe couldn't fulfill on, or a plan or something like that. And they won't speak about that, but it's something related to finances,
Yeah,
uh, financially. That's what I believe.
crazy. So, look, couple dope topics on this episode. If you guys learned anything about anything today, we appreciate if you share this episode with one other person that needs to be in the loop of Latin wealth. And we appreciate you all as always. And with that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next week. Peace.
Peace, guys.